Welcome, my friend. Consider me your mentor for today's journey. Have you ever felt that intense, almost burning pull of ambition, but at the exact same time you're harboring this quiet, deep desperation for peace? Well, if that resonates, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're opening up an ancient, highly intense psychological blueprint. We're going to decode the complex, shadowy energy known as Rahu in the first house.
So I really want you to sit with this profound question for a second. What actually happens when endless ambition meets the search for inner peace? It's kind of the ultimate human conflict, isn't it? Because on one hand, you've got this relentless, almost obsessive drive for external success, for power, for absolute validation. And then on the other hand, there's a whispering need for internal, quiet fulfillment. In this explainer, we're going to see how this exact collision shapes a person's entire trajectory, pulling them through some absolutely incredible highs and, frankly, some pretty devastating lows.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand this energy, we're pulling from Bhrigu Nandi Nadi and classical Vedic astrology. Now, I know what you might be thinking. These are ancient wisdom traditions, right? But I want you to view them today as an incredibly practical, modern psychological blueprint. Yes, they focus on the complex energies of the cosmos, but they translate directly into human psychology. It's literally a map of the mind. And the map we're exploring today, this shadow energy of Rahu, is honestly one of the most captivating and chaotic blueprints out there.
Section 1. The struggle for unique identity. Overcoming the illusion of not belonging. The native often feels different from others and experiences a strong desire to create a unique identity. Now, you have to understand, this isn't just some fleeting, rebellious teenage phase. Not at all. This is a core psychological struggle that completely defines their early life. They look around, and they simply do not feel like they fit into the standard, everyday mold. But here is the secret. That exact, painful feeling of not belonging, that becomes the absolute fuel for their entire, wildly unconventional trajectory later in life. Let's break down exactly how that early lack of belonging transforms a person. Initially, it's tough. There are deep, real struggles with self-image. They don't quite understand their true purpose right out of the gate. But because the standard playbook doesn't work for them, they're forced to develop highly unique thinking patterns. They start exhibiting unusual behavior because, well, the usual way never fit them anyway, so why pretend? This naturally breeds a fierce attraction to non-traditional choices. And practically speaking, this often manifests right in their physical environment. They find themselves drawn to foreign travel, sudden relocations, or very multicultural environments. It's almost like they have to leave the familiar behind to actually find out who they are. And because they're walking this entirely unique self-paved path, they develop a distinctly magnetic aura. The ancient texts actually tell us others may find the native highly attractive, intense, unpredictable, or difficult to fully understand. It's mysterious. It's an energy that develops purely from surviving that early identity confusion. They grow into someone who is incredibly compelling, which, as you can probably guess, prepares them perfectly for navigating the highly complex, cutthroat interactions of the modern world.
Section 2. Obsession, Ambition, and Illusion. Rahu in the modern workplace.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these daily decision patterns manifest as intense, sometimes downright ruthless ambition. This isn't just someone who wants to do a good job. We are talking about a constant, burning search for visibility, for importance, and for social validation. It is a deep, obsessive focus on success, wealth, and power. And how do they get there? They employ highly strategic thinking. Think of the classic disruptive tech visionary, or maybe a hyper-focused political strategist. When this energy goes unchecked, it can easily blur the lines into manipulation or deception. Plus, they are incredibly drawn to power dynamics. You'll constantly find this energy circling taboo subjects, the occult, cutting-edge technology, or politics. They need to know how the machine works so they can control it.
But here's the catch. Unchecked ambition creates total chaos. Life under this influence is an absolute roller coaster. Look at how fast this moves. Year 1, bam! Unexpected opportunities and huge personal shifts. By year 3, they are riding extreme highs with rapid, almost unbelievable career growth. They seem completely unstoppable. But then, year 4 hits. Sudden controversies, massive, unforeseen obstacles out of nowhere. And by year 6, a sudden fall that forces a total personal transformation. It is an exhausting, chaotic cycle of sudden, skyrocketing rises followed by sudden, dramatic falls.
Now, as your mentor, I've got to remind you that these dramatic highs and lows aren't just random strokes of bad luck. In the deeper Bhrigu Nandi Nadi interpretation, the severity of these swings depends on very specific, deep variables.
It all hinges on Rahu's zodiac sign, its conjunctions with planets like the Sun, Moon, Mars, or Saturn, and aspects from malefics like Jupiter. Even the condition of the Lagna Lord and Ketu's placement play a part. Basically, these variables make up the complete, complex picture of a person's fate. They aren't guaranteed doomsdays, but rather the underlying foundation that determines whether that massive ambition builds a lasting empire or just burns the whole thing to the ground.
Section 3. The path to inner peace. Waking up from the illusion.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core conflict we introduced at the very beginning of our journey. Look at the stark contrast here. On the left side, you've got endless desire, the absolutely exhausting need for social validation, for status, for wealth, and the grand illusion that worldly success is permanent. But then, on the right side, lasting peace, true spiritual fulfillment, simply letting go of that heavy obsession. You see, the ultimate mentor lesson of Rahu is learning the profound difference between external recognition and true internal joy. It's waking up to the fact that the exhausting demands on the left will never, ever satisfy the needs on the right. So how do we practically apply this ancient wisdom to our very modern lives? Well, here are 3 actionable steps for actually managing that obsession. Step 1. You must firmly recognize that external success simply cannot create lasting peace. It's a mirage. Step 2. You have to consciously pierce through the illusion of endless desire. You have to recognize when your ambition is driving you rather than you driving your ambition. And step 3, deliberately shift your focus. Stop seeking your validation from the outside world and start seeking true spiritual fulfillment from within. This is how you extract the ultimate gold from this intense psychological blueprint.
Which leaves us with one final, essential thought for you to carry into your week. If endless desire cannot create lasting peace, what will you choose to build your true identity upon today? Will it be the unpredictable, exhausting roller coaster of external validation? Or will it be a quiet, unshakable foundation of inner fulfillment? The choice, my friend, is entirely yours. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll see you next time.